Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Double. Today I want to take a look at adding some MIDI expandability to my Boss GX100 and maybe kind of give you a couple of ideas on ways that you could do the same. I have it right here in front of me and I'll pull up the software in a little bit. Actually already kind of set it up. I'm going to set it up to use it with my Boss EV-1-WL, clearly not a paid for video. If you've clicked on this video and you need some MIDI guidance for your GX100, how to expand it, what I'm going to do is actually have my expression control, some expression control assigned to the expression pedal, and you can actually do a lot of different things, but you can hit a switch and then have expression control over a second set of parameters, hit the switch and go back to that first set of parameters. As well, there is an input on the side for a couple of more switches, and you can access those parameter changes, CC changes, etc. with those external switches as well, thus giving you a couple of more switches and some more expression options, maybe freeing you up with having the need to move around from patch to patch within the GX100 and maybe centralize your patches a little bit more if you need a little more options. One of the nice things about the GX100 is the amount of assigns that you can have in it. My ES8 switcher, for example, I'm limited to 12 per patch, but with this, there's a lot more. Let's take a look at what I'm doing here. One of the first things that you'll need is a Phillips screwdriver. Just don't use a power tool. We're just going to take out one small screw. I actually set the expression pedal up already. To do what we're doing, you can make a MIDI cable like I have made right here. It's literally just MIDI on one side to a stereo headphone TRS mini cable on that side. So MIDI to mini TRS. The TRS side will plug into the back of the EV unit. Boss does have an official one, which is really cool because you can set it up to be right angled or sticking out straight. I currently have it set up to be right angled for a slightly lower profile. Or you can do this with the Boss Audio MIDI Dual Adapter or the Boss BT Dual MIDI or something like that. BT Dual, I believe is what it is just officially called. It's little. I mean, it's really small. It's this small. And I'll walk you through how we put that on the unit. It has one button, literally one button, one light, and this little hole that's very important. That's where that screw that we're going to take off the back of the GX100 is going to go, and it will help give it a secure connection. So make sure you don't use this without doing this move. On the back of the GX, you have this expansion port. That's what we'll attach the BT Dual to. If you're going to go wired, you would put the MIDI end of your cable into the input section right here. The input MIDI in right there. First thing you want to do if you're doing the dual is just pop that little guy off. I'm going to pop it in the box so I don't lose it. And take your Phillips and unscrew this guy. Don't worry, you're not going to make anything fall internally. The screen's not going to fall off or anything like that. This is just a retainer screw for the BT Dual to help secure it and give a good connection and keep it in place. And as long as I don't drop it, I'll be fine. Now you can see it aligns in such a way that that screw hole is going to fit right over the hole that is there for the screw. You push it straight in that orientation so that the Boss logo is up. We're going to place the screw back into place. Get it in nice and secure. You know, it doesn't have to be crazy secure. Don't use a power tool. You'll strip that thing out, break it real quick. Do it by hand. And when you turn the unit on, once the unit boots up, the blue light will start blinking. And now I can kick back over to my EV unit. I have already paired them. The funny thing is, I thought they would pair with this light in blue, but you actually need to go to the white light on the EV. I'm going to hold the pair button down on the EV, or I guess you just touch it. You actually just touch it, and it will pair up. And you'll see the blue light will stop blinking on our BT Dual, and the white light will stop blinking. And now I'll be able to go into my assignments and use this switch here that's on the EV. When you press down on the toe, you can even change the sensitivity of that. If I had it at regular sensitivity, there's no way I could do that with my hand. But when you push it toe down all the way, you hit it, you can activate a switch. Then you have a second set of control parameters. And hit it back. And you do want to make sure that you set up your EV wireless with the app that it comes with. I can put a link to my video where I set it up with the Boss Pocket GT. I'll put a link to that video up here. You will want to set it up. I currently have it as just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So expression 1 is 1, and then I hit the switch, and that's CC2. And then expression control, the second set of expression control parameters, once that switch is hit, is now going to be CC3 ranges. And then the external switches will be 4 and 5 accordingly. All right, I'm going to pull up the software and plug this guy into the computer. I'll run into the assignment section of the GX100 software. You can do all of this on the hardware. That's actually how I set it up. I didn't use the software. I'm going to go ahead and open up the software and just see how all of my parameters carried over. And I think that's just an easier way to show you what I'm talking about. Oh, and do remember, if you're doing this on the unit, when you go into your assignments, in order to activate that assignment, you want to scroll all the way to the left of that assignment, or when you first go down to that number, and hit the select button so that that little light turns green. I believe it's going to do that in the software. I'm pretty sure there'll be something, but that was something I forgot to do, and I couldn't understand why my control wasn't happening. Then I actually made sure I was in the very first column of the assignment section, hit that select button down, pushed it down, and it will then turn on that assignment. That's crucial. Okay, let's pull up the software, brother. As you can see, when I use the treadle on the GX100, I have it set up right now so that when it's toe up, it goes to tuner. When it's toe down, it becomes volume. And if I had enough strength in my hands, I could push that button as well in the toe, and it activates the wah. So I have that kind of set up the way I like it. So the expression pedal alone here, I have, if you look right here in this one, I have it currently set up to sweep the solo level of the amplifier, so that when I turn on solo for my channel, I have it set to sweep through actually 2 settings. So I have it going through amp 1 and amp 2. See how on the top here I have amp 1, and you can see that solo level is going from 10 to 30. And then right now over here on amp 2, same thing, 10 to 30. I'll show you how I set that up. What we're going to want to do is go over here to control. As you look through this might seem a little intimidating at first, but it's basically the same thing that you would find within the GX100 if you did it on the screen or did it by hand, by navigating it with the buttons and stuff and such. So what I was talking about, how you want to hit the button and make sure that the assignment that you have is actually active. All of these blue lights are active assignments for this one patch. So yeah, it looks like we have up to 20 assignments per patch, whereas in my ES8, which is amazing, I only have 12, which was like one of the very few limitations that I found in it. I just wished I could do just a little bit more with each patch. Well, here I can do that. And what I can do is come over to the edit section of whichever one of these assignments that I want to work on. This section here, control function, is going to be your basic settings for most of how this is set up. But what we want to do is now go into our assignments. Well, that was really strange. So I just had a strange little software glitch going on there. It wasn't showing me over here in my sources the proper sources. I don't know if you caught that. I don't know if that came through, but here under my source section, you can see I have CC1, current number, manual. So if you hit edit, you'll then see this set of tabs, which will give you 3 pages to work with. We're going to start here in page 1, and my first assignment is I have it set for preamp 1. You can pull up all sorts of different control options. Almost every unit that you have going within your patch right now, you can control in one way or another. So, like I said, I went through and made my external expression control, the wireless one, its first treadle is going to be CC number 1. So if you got this out of the box, I believe it's CC 10, maybe 11, probably 11. I'm not positive, but I went in and edited the parameters so that I could just remember this a little easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a lot easier to remember than the ones that they have in there if this is something new for you. So I went and hit CC1 as the source, which means my expression pedal without hitting the toe switch will be CC1. I'm going to go into momentary because it's just going to sweep through these numbers as I hit them. Target parameter, solo level, and now you see what just happened here. The target range will default from 0 to 100, and I definitely don't want that. I don't want those amps being boosted to 100. So I know I want to be able to have a little bit of a range here. So I'm going to put this at 10, which is not much of a boost, which would be like, in my band, I have another guitarist and we have a keyboardist. And sometimes the other guitarist isn't playing while I'm soloing. Sometimes he is. So sometimes I need just a little more juice to get over him, and sometimes I need just a little less juice to just get over the keyboards when it's just the keyboards over the section. So I like to have control over that range, and I can now use my foot to set that to with that whatever range that will be for the song, and then when I activate my solo switch, it will then sweep to that range. And I have it displayed. I have my knob settings in such a way that I can see visibly on my screen where that range is going to go. So I'm just going to close this now. Let's see. And so, looks like it didn't keep my maximum. So close. Yeah, it's weird. I think because I have USB going, it's just not liking me kind of moving them around. But now you can see right here. So here's a little glitch that we found in the software. Target max. Interesting. It's not showing me the target max number even though I've stored it. Yeah, that's strange, right? I think that's really weird. I think if I save it, it might just do that. So it might display it right for me. Hey boss, I found a glitch. So let's just do right, and I'm going to write it to this patch here of mine. And that's how you save it. You just hit right, and hopefully it will save it without the glitch. Oh boy. I hope so. Either way, I can set it back up in another section, in another patch. I can always do it again. So let's just go over here to my control expression again. And look, yep, so now that I've saved it, we can see my target max value here under assignment number 1, the minimum, and now my maximum is being displayed. It just wasn't displaying that 30 right there for some reason. So now if I were to select my amp, you would see it is going to go between, even when this solo switch is not engaged, it's going to still let me set that range. And then when I hit my button, that's going to turn that on, which I have set to current number, which really makes things easy as you move from one patch to another. As I engage that solo switch, it's going to then only boost up to that level, you know? So if the other guitarist is playing and I know I'm going to need just that extra bit of juice, I can just push that up and know that I'm ready when the solo time comes. And if it's just a piano song and I need to just be a little louder, just a touch louder, I turn the switch on and I'm at 10. And you can do that with anything. You can do that with all of the controls here. You can do that with delay, compression level, Say you're using a boost pedal instead of the amp boost. You can do the same thing. You just go into that range and adjust it to the proper way. Just remember, things are going to default to they're going to default to 0 to 100. So don't just do this before a show without checking it. Don't just do this thinking, oh, that's great, now I have complete control, because it's actually going to sound real out of control sometimes. You might want your chorus just to go between 40 and 60% depth. You want to set that there in that minimum and maximum target range, and that will give you the kind of control you're looking for. You can even set a wah to a very sweet spot, and then use the kind of limited range of these pedals. They don't quite feel the same. The EV has a bigger throw, it feels like, than what's on the GX. So there's a little bit of an upgrade. This may be better as a wah for somebody that is used to that much more of a throw. So then you would go in and you would, instead of making this preamp 1, you would make it wah right here, and so forth. And then you can go in and adjust those parameters. I'm not going to change any of this because I've already done all that. And you can hit the switch, and then this could be my second wah. But something that I then would have to remember is, if I were to use this as a wah, in order for me to get to the toe switch, I'd have to then boost my level all the way and hit the solo. You know what I mean? Maybe it would be better for me to be the other way. I don't know. You have all sorts of options. You could use one of these to activate the wah and send the commands to now switch that over. You know, you have options. And look, it's wireless. Doing it this way is completely wireless. You can, like I said, I set this up using a wire, and then once this apparently hard to find BT Dual arrived, I just synced them, and all of the commands that I had created with the wire transferred over. So if for some reason I'm having Bluetooth issues at a show, I can always pop the cable in line, and all of the commands will be the same. And making one of these guys on your own, it's real simple. If I didn't say it before, I'll pop the wiring diagram up. It's a little bit different than other brands. You know, the pinning's just a little bit different than the Innovation one. I have an Innovation circuit here on my desk, and it has TRS to MIDI, 5-pin MIDI, different wiring. Like I said, I'll flash that drawing of it. You can pause, take a snapshot of it, whatever. But I'm loving this right here and this setup. The fact that in one patch I can have 20 assigns to turn things on and off or adjust them, and now have 4 expression points of control. I don't know how I'm going to balance it yet, but for right now I'm going to start slowly and just use this as just the one extra expression control, and kind of figure it out from there. So maybe I'll do a follow-up video. If you have some ideas on how you would use 2 expression controllers that have 2 expression parameter ranges in each one, or how you're going to use something like this, leave a comment below. You don't have to wait for the wireless. You can do this with the wired. Anyways, I hope that this helps you if this was something that you were looking to do. I'm Double D, and I love messing around with crap like this. So if this is your kind of thing, please just feel free to hit the subscribe button. And I really appreciate you being here. Thank you very much.